All right, everyone, welcome back to another manga spotlight. I am your host, the Ice Dragon, Rayron VER. Today, we are taking a look at Komi Can't Communicate Volume 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back here. It is by Viz Media, Shonen Sunday, and rated T for teen. We've got $9.99 for USA for the amount, and we've got the backstory. So let's take a look at what we got here. All right, socially anxious high school student Shoko Kami's greatest dream is to make some friends, but everyone at school mistakes her for crippling social anxiety for cool reserve. Luckily, she meets Tandano, a timid wallflower who decides to step out of her comfort zone in order to help her achieve her goal of making 100 friends. Summer is about to begin, and Komi would love to be able to spend the long, hot vacation days hanging out with her new friends, but even though she's made great strides in her personal quest, she still has problems communicating. For instance, making phone calls is so anxiety provoking that it keeps her up at night. Thankfully, Tendano always seems to know how to help her calm down. So with that, what are my overall thoughts on this particular volume? Um, in volume two, I said that there was kind of a dueling plots that, you have this plot that Komi is trying to make 100 new friends. Whereas we start to see develop, kind of a subplot to, okay, we're starting to see this romance brew between Komi and Tendano. This volume explodes when it comes to that second plot point, to the point that the original trying to make 100 friends is almost non-existent in this particular volume. It feels like they really focused more on the relationship building and um, trying to get Tendano and Komi a little bit more together on this one. And so it was an okay volume. It was definitely more filler to really develop that secondary plot that's going on. And it was definitely a carrot on a stick when it comes to this relationship. They get so close to coming together, but then life gets in the way and you don't see them really hook up. And, that's just how it goes when it comes to rom coms. It takes a long time for them to actually hook up, which can be annoying, but as long as the story supports itself, I'm okay with it. But again, we got to have those payoffs. There's a few payoffs in here, but overall, it felt like a little bit of a filler volume. And again, it really developed that subplot a lot more. So, with that, let's go ahead and go into spoilers. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to look at this video at a later time. So, with that, let's dive into it. So, this volume is pretty much, again, a story that builds up the subplot of Komi and Tadano's relationship. We get a series of sub stories that kind of starts us off with. We got this competition that between Komi and another friend, and obviously Komi scores really well. And then once the tests are done, we go into summer vacation. As a result, Komi is really smart. She gets all of her homework done, and she's bored. She wants to do something, and then we kind of get a good amount of filler in this midway through the story, where it's basically they go on a pool party, and there's a whole montage of what clothes she's going to wear and so forth. And they were able finally to get to the pool, where she accidentally trips and hurts herself. And Tandano, being the gentleman that he is, stays with Komi because Komi can't no longer swim because of her injury. And again, we start to see that subplot really start to bloom. And then once the pool is over, we get some more mini stories. I'm not going to go over all of them because there was just a lot of filler in this one. There was a library scene. We get to see Komi's parents a little bit more. We see Komi and her father go out kind of on an outing. And we start to understand that Komi's anxiety issues come from her father, which is pretty funny that they're able to communicate. I think the author really did that relationship really well to see that they can communicate just by not talking, because they have the similar issues. So I think that was kind of a cool treat to see and to expand upon that a little bit more. But yeah, other than that, we see Komi go play in the park, and then Tendano is also there. So um, it is what it is. Let's see here. And then after that, Komi and her family go out to see the grandparents. And I think this is pretty cool. I think this is something that here in America, I think we need to try to do a little bit better of. Is just respecting your elderly. Seeing this kind of culture in Japan where, grandma, you listen to grandma. Like, you take the advice of her. Um, you spend one-on-one time to understand the lessons of the past. And we definitely see a lot of that with Komi and the grandma. And then we start to see that, the true feelings for Komi start to come out, that yes, there is a boy that she likes, and everyone knows it's Tendano. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to see. And then at the very end of it, there is the festival, which leads us to our cover page here. Komi and the rest of the gang go out for the traditional Japanese festival, and we get to see Tandano and Komi get a little bit closer. And that's pretty much it. That's where volume 3 ends. So again, it really focused a lot on Komi. Komi is really the center point in all this, which rightfully so. It's the name of the manga, for crying out loud. But the main focus was that subplot of, okay, here's Komi, here's her family. We get to expand about that. We get a lot of foundational understanding of her, and we really start to see the secondary plot of Komi and the relationship with the Tendano start to really grow in this one. And the whole plot of trying to meet 100 friends is kind of is sidelined completely in this volume. So again, very interesting to see. And now we start to have these two main plots of this story fully developed at this point. And it is interesting how we try to balance that in the future. So one of my kind of complaints about this story, but we'll get to that in later volumes. So with that, guys, that's really all I have. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any manga suggestions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to support my work at rayronvr.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Wing hugs to you all.